Hi there, I'm Danny Henderson, spiritualtherapist.com. And I wanted to bring your attention today to the fact that there's such a lot of stress in families right now, as we know. And there was also long before this in terms of people who break down the family connection and end up getting divorced. Now, a couple of years ago, as a therapist, I wrote this book, and it's under the Kids Soul Speak banner, and it's called Kids of Divorce, and it's by Danielle Henderson, NLP, PrAC, CH-DIP. Don't be too impressed by those letters after my name, honestly, they just make me look clever. What really matters is that I put this book together to help families, to help your family. If you're divorced, whether you have kids or not, but especially if you do have children, or perhaps you are an adult who is a child of divorce and you haven't fully let go of that pain that you've been holding in your cellular memory. And maybe you've gone on to create some sad habits, or maybe you've grown strength from it. This book, Kids of Divorce by Danielle Henderson, is basically 11 short stories from kids and teenagers all over the world, because it's the same energy. You know, when a child's parents leave the family home, when the family breaks up, their hearts break too, just like ours do. Their hearts break because mommy and daddy are no longer together, you know. And there's a couple of things I want to say. This book is stories from them sharing what they went through. And at the end of each chapter, these children ages 10 to 19 years old tell all the other children reading their stories, and the mums and dads and grandmas and grandpas that are also reading this book and these stories, they gift their wisdom. They gift their wisdom. There's a 10-year-old girl here, and she's saying things like, when my mum and dad broke up, I'll go to my dad's house. And my dad wanted me to be a good surfer because he's a good surfer. She says, all I wanted to do was create artwork. All I wanted to do was for my daddy to take me to the art store, buy art supplies, so I could show him what a good artist I am. But the dad, he wasn't seeing that. And I get it, you know, I get that the dad wanted to make his kid good like him because he wasn't in the house anymore. But it isn't about that. You know, as parents, we need to be listening more to our children. Let them talk and listen to them. Let them show you. You remember when you were a kid and how you craved attention from parents or adults, how it would do your heart the world of good if an adult looks at you and says, well done, good boy, good girl. Remember how good that felt? That's what your children and children in your families, you know, are looking for. Now, I do want to come to something that is just such a tragedy to me in terms of, you know, whether we're married or not, but whether a father leaves the home or a mother. It's not just the dads, but let's focus on the dads for a minute. There is a bunch of terrible, terrible fathers who literally will have a kid with a woman and dump her and leave her to raise the baby. Get your shit together. How dare you do that? Number one, that's just my own personal. I've seen, as a therapist, I have so many women that I've dealt with, and men too, like I said. They don't, these kids are dumped, the dads don't come, the dads don't pay a penny. What is wrong with you? How dare you not pay a penny towards this child that you've brought into the world? And even if you knew nothing about it, and even if blah, 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 knock it off. Do you know how difficult it is for a single mum to raise children by herself and pay for everything? It's such a journey. And you know, the ongoing effect of the child in the child's mind, my dad left, my dad didn't like me, my dad doesn't want me, my dad abandoned me. You know what you're doing? Do you know what you're doing? You know? And like I said, there are mothers too that make those choices. And of course, there are different situations, but I'm just talking mainstream, mainline, you know? So dumping the kids raised by the mothers and not paying is just so out of order, so out of order. And if you've done it on purpose, knock that shit off and put it right. You've always got a chance to put it right. You've always got the opportunity to raise some funds, to say sorry to the mother, to thank her for raising your children. And the same for the dads who've had to raise kids by themselves. There's not enough time to cover everything I want to in this video. I really want to recommend you get the book, you read the stories, because it isn't just about the dads that ditch or the mums that ditch, or about the kids really wanting to say, Daddy, can I just show you what a good dancer I am? Or Dad, can I just play guitar to you? Or Mom, you know, coming to the mums, one of the biggest errors that mothers make en masse is they say unkind things about the dad. Now, I'm sorry, mums, but your kid didn't marry their dad, and your kid had no control over what your husband or lover, father of your kids, did to you. It's not their job to hold your frequency of rage. And I can't tell you how many children shut down, they carry guilt and shame. It's not theirs. It's not fair on them. I've dealt with mothers who've literally, one woman in my clinic, oh, I'll never forget this one. She was a very uptight woman. She was carrying a lot of rage. She was humiliated. Her husband had left her. And her 10-year-old little girl, 10, an interesting age, was saying to her, I want to see my daddy. I want to see my daddy. And the mom was like, how could you want to see your dad after what he did to me? Can you imagine the pressure that you parents put on these children? You know, we gotta let it go. We gotta knock that shit off. It's not their job to carry your pain and agony. So stop it. Stop it. I know you're in pain, but you're inflicting pain on your children. Stop doing that. And to the children who are adults now, you know, I'm sorry if your mom and dad did that to you, because you know how bad that feels. And again, this book with the stories in it is really healing for the children who are now adults. The other thing I wanted to say was that, you know, if your son or your daughter is getting married, right? Gosh, how amazing, how beautiful. Are you purposefully putting pressure on your son or your daughter not to invite their husband, their mother, their father? Do you know how difficult it is for the parents that really want to be there? Do you know how difficult it is in particular for the most important people on the day, which are your children? You know what I'm saying, right? You know, I'm not going to the wedding if he brings his wife or if she brings her husband. I'm not going to the wedding if he's going to be in the same room. I'm not sitting at the... If these children of yours are electing to fall in love and get married, despite what fuckery you created in your life, you know, divorce is a terrible journey, isn't it? It's not funny at all. It's such a painful journey. I've been through it. I know what I'm talking about. Let's not put that pressure on our kids who want to get married. Let's not do that. Let's take a breath and let's celebrate the fact that these children have so much love inside of them that very likely came from both parents, and they want to see what it's like to be in a family unit that was taken away from them. How about we rethink our kind of what we think, what we want, and leave it to them. Leave it to them. Anyway, I'm going to sign off here, but I just wanted to bring you to this book, Kids of Divorce, by Danielle Henderson, NLP practitioner, clinical hypnotherapist. And for you to share it with kids, you know, and honestly, I would love this book in every school. I want to put this book in the hands of every kid in every school, you know, across the world, for children to read stories about other children their age that are really in pain because mommy and daddy are getting divorced. And you know what? Maybe there'll be some parents that read this that decide, you know what? I once loved my husband or my wife. I once was so in love with that person, and over the years, things changed, because we tend to forget why we fall in love. We do. We forget why we fell in love with someone. And sometimes the things that we fell in love with, we want to change. And then we start falling out of love with them. It is possible to reconnect. It is possible through the eyes and the arms of love to fall in love again with your spouse, with the parent to your child. It really is. I'll leave that with you. I am Danny, spiritualtherapist.com. See you soon. Sending love.